It's pretty hard to imagine, like, even a single day without checking social media these days, right?
It is.
I mean, Facebook, Instagram, keeping up with everyone on X.
It's going to take a while to get used to that
It
one.
really is. And then TikTok, LinkedIn, like all of it, you know? It's just how we live now. But ever notice how sometimes, like, all that connection can actually make you feel kind of worse?
Definitely, yeah. It's something we're seeing a lot more of, actually. It even has a name,
Hmm.
social media anxiety. It's not really just about how much time you spend online, though. It's more about the feelings it can bring up, the stress, the self-doubt, all that kind of drains you emotionally.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're going to really dig into today. Like, really get to the bottom of it, not just, scratch the surface.
Right.
Why does this anxiety happen? How is it messing with our minds and bodies? And who's responsible for all of this? Big question.
There are, yeah.
And most importantly, are there things we can actually do about it? So we've been looking into all this, and we've got some really interesting stuff to share.
We do. Like, did you know that just getting a notification can actually, like, trigger your brain's reward system? Pretty crazy, huh?
It is.
And then there's this thing about how, everyone's always showing their perfect lives online.
Yeah, the highlight reel.
Exactly. And that can totally mess with how we see our own lives.
Yeah.
And then we got to talk about how these platforms are designed, right?
Yeah.
Like, does that play a part in all this anxiety?
Okay, so social media anxiety, it's more than just like scrolling all day, right? What exactly are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's more like the emotional stuff beneath it all. Like when you see everyone's amazing vacation pictures or all those party posts, and you get that feeling like you're missing out.
Oh, the FOMO.
FOMO, that's
Yeah.
it. Like everyone's having a blast and you're not.
Yeah. You see all those perfect lives, and yours just feels boring.
That's the comparison trap.
Yeah.
We're constantly seeing these like idealized versions of people, influencers, celebrities, even our friends, everyone's putting their best foot forward. So we start comparing our own lives, what we've achieved, even how we look, to these unrealistic images.
It's so sneaky, too. You don't even realize you're doing it sometimes.
It is, yeah. And then there's the whole cyberbullying thing. People feel braver online, so they say things they wouldn't in person. Those negative comments, they can stick with you.
Big time.
And then there's the whole thing about validation, like needing those likes and comments. It's almost like we measure our self-worth by how many hearts we get.
Yeah, those little thumbs up can feel so important sometimes.
They can, and there's actually some like brain science behind that, which we'll talk
Yeah.
about. And then on top of all that, there's just so much information coming at us all the time. It's like a fire hose.
Information overload.
Yep. Updates, news, opinions, viral videos. It's overwhelming. And it definitely adds to the anxiety. Like, we can never keep up.
It's true. So with all these feelings, what's actually happening in our brains? Like, is there a biological reason for all this?
Absolutely. It's not just in our heads, There's some serious psychology and neurology going on. Let's talk about dopamine. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, the feel-good chemical, right?
Exactly. So every time you get a like, a nice comment, even just a notification, your brain releases a little bit of dopamine. It's like a mini reward. And the platforms are designed to deliver those rewards in a way that keeps us hooked. Sometimes it's predictable, sometimes it's not, which makes it even more powerful.
So that's why we keep coming back for more, even if it's stressing us out.
Exactly. And then there's this other thing called the negativity bias. It's like, from way back in our evolution, our brains learned to pay more attention to negative things. It helped us survive. So if someone says something mean online or we feel excluded, our brains react like it's a real-life threat.
It's like that one mean comment can totally ruin your day.
Yeah, it can totally overshadow all the positive stuff. And then there are these things called cognitive distortions. Basically, they're patterns of thinking that aren't very helpful. And because social media is so curated, everyone's showing their best selves, it can really distort our perception of reality. Like, we start to think everyone else's life is perfect and ours is a mess.
Because we're comparing our behind the scenes to their highlight reel.
Exactly. And that leads to feeling inadequate, anxious, all that.
Right. So we've talked about what social media anxiety is and why it happens, but what about the effects? How does it actually impact our health?
Well, the impact can be pretty wide-ranging, and it's not good news. Studies have shown that spending too much time on social media and all the anxiety that comes with it can lead to higher levels of anxiety and depression.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it can also lower our self-esteem. When you're constantly checking notifications, trying to keep up with everything, it creates this state of chronic stress. And over time, that can lead to burnout.
It's like you're always on edge, right?
Exactly. You never really get a break. And then there's the impact on body image. There's platforms like Instagram and TikTok. They often promote these like super narrow, unrealistic beauty standards.
It's a lot of pressure, especially for younger people.
It is, yeah. And all that exposure can lead to body dissatisfaction, eating disorders, serious self-esteem problems. It's a real concern. And then there's sleep. Have you noticed how being on your phone late at night can mess with your sleep?
Totally. I can never resist that last scroll before bed, even though I know it's a bad idea.
It's that blue light from our screens. It messes with our melatonin production, which is the hormone that regulates our sleep. So we end up with worse sleep quality, and guess what? That can actually make anxiety worse.
This is a vicious cycle.
It is. And here's another thing that's interesting. Social media is supposed to be about connecting with people, right? But sometimes spending too much time online can actually make us feel more lonely and isolated, even if we have tons of friends online.
So we're like hyper connected online, but disconnected in real life.
Exactly. And it's not just our minds that are affected. All this social media anxiety can have physical consequences too. Headaches, eye strain from staring at screens all day.
Yeah. And probably not great for our wrists either, all that scrolling.
True. And then there's the whole sedentary lifestyle thing. We're sitting all the time, which increases the risk of weight gain, heart problems.
And probably stiffness and aches too.
Definitely. And here's another one you might not expect. Stress from social media can actually mess with our digestion. There's a strong connection between our gut and our brain, so when we're stressed, our digestion can suffer.
Wow, it really affects everything. So with all these negative impacts, there's a lot of debate about who's responsible, right?
There is. A big question is, what about the social media companies themselves? Do they have some responsibility here? Critics say that their business model is based on keeping us engaged no matter what, because the more time we spend on their platforms, the more ads they can show us.
So they profit from us being glued to our screens, even if it's making us anxious.
That's the argument.
Yeah.
And then there are all those features that are designed to be addictive. Infinite scrolling, videos that play automatically, notifications popping up all the time. Critics say those are intentional, to keep us hooked.
It's true. It's hard to stop scrolling sometimes.
Right. And some people even say that these platforms make money from controversial or emotional content because it gets more engagement, even if that engagement is negative or stressful.
Which can make the whole online environment more toxic.
Absolutely. Now, some of the companies have tried to address these concerns. They've introduced features they say are supposed to promote well-being, like Instagram lets you hide, like, counts now.
Right, and X has those content warnings.
Yeah. But some people say those are just Band-Aids, and they don't really solve the bigger problem. They say the platforms are still designed to keep us engaged above all else.
It's a valid point. But some people argue that social media isn't the only culprit here, right?
That's true. There's another side to this. Some people say social media is just like any other media, really. Like, think about fashion magazines. They've been promoting unrealistic beauty standards forever.
That's true. We've been seeing those perfect airbrushed photos for years.
Exactly. And it's not just about body image. Think about the news. Sensationalized stories. Fear-mongering that was happening in newspapers long before social media.
Yeah, it's not a new thing.
Right. And some people argue that comparing ourselves to others is just human nature. We've always done it. Social media just gives us a bigger stage to do it on.
So it's not a new behavior, just a new platform for it.
Exactly. However, the counter-argument is that social media might make these things worse. Because of the sheer volume of information, the fact that we're connected 24/7, and because of the algorithms that show us what they think we want to see, even if it's not good for us.
It's like social media amplifies all those pressures that were already there. But it's not all bad news, right? There are some good things about social media, especially when it comes to mental health.
Oh, absolutely. We have to acknowledge the positives too. For example, online support groups can be amazing for people who are struggling. They can connect with others who understand what they're going through, find a sense of community, get advice.
Yeah, it can be a real lifeline for people who feel alone.
It can. And social media has been really important for raising awareness about mental health, helping to break down stigma and encouraging people to get help. And there's a ton of educational content available too. Articles, videos, even mindfulness exercises, all sorts of stuff.
So it really comes down to how we use it.
Exactly. Like with any tool, it can be used for good or bad. So what can we actually do to manage our relationship with social media and reduce the anxiety?
That's the big question.
It is. And the good news is there are a lot of things we can do. It's not necessarily about quitting social media completely, but about being more mindful and setting some boundaries. Like, have you ever used those screen time tracking features on your phone?
I have. It's kind of scary to see how much time I actually spend online.
I know, right? But it can be really helpful to set some limits for yourself. Like maybe you only allow yourself an hour a day on Instagram or something like that. And turning off notifications can be a game changer.
Oh, yeah, those constant pings are the worst.
They are. It's like our brains are trained to respond to them.
Yeah.
So turning off those non-essential notifications can really help reduce the urge to constantly check our phones. Another good tip is to designate some no screen time, like an hour before bed and maybe an hour after you wake up. Give your brain a break from the constant stimulation.
It's like a digital detox.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of curating your social media feed. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad or envious or that trigger those comparisons.
It's like cleaning up your digital space, right?
Exactly. Get rid of the stuff that's not serving you. And taking breaks can be really helpful too. Even just a few days or a week off social media can make a big difference.
Like a vacation from your phone.
Exactly. And while you're at it, maybe do a little digital decluttering. Leave those groups you don't really care about anymore. Unfollow accounts you don't engage with. You know, clean things up.
Spring cleaning for your digital life. I like it.
Yeah. And aside from all the practical stuff, it's important to work on your mindset too. Like practice gratitude. Be thankful for the good things in your life and be kind to yourself. Remember, social media is just a highlight reel. It's not real life, and don't believe everything you see online.
Especially these days with all the misinformation out there.
Exactly. Do your own research, fact check things, don't let it stress you out. And most importantly, prioritize those real-life connections. Spend time with your friends and family in person. Do things you enjoy offline. Read a book. Go for a walk in nature. You know,
Nature is definitely a good antidote to too much screen time.
it is. And if you're really struggling, don't hesitate to seek professional help. There are therapists who specialize in social media anxiety, and there are all sorts of therapies that can help, like CBT, mindfulness support groups.
Good to know there are resources available. So it sounds like it's all about finding a healthier balance with social media, right?
It is. Social media can be a great tool, but we have to be intentional about how we use it, setting those boundaries, being mindful, choosing to engage in ways that make us feel good, not bad.
So for everyone listening, think about what you can do to create a more positive experience online. Maybe set some time limits, be more mindful of who you're following. Remember that it's just a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Prioritize those real-life connections. Be deliberate about how you use social media.
And here's a question to think about. What's one small change you can make today to have a better, less anxious experience online? Just one small thing, because even small changes can make a big difference.